Escaping the grid, can you opt out of social credit systems? Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and this is the Social Credit and Surveillance series. The question everyone asks once they begin to recognize the structure of this system is, can I get out? If everything we do is monitored, scored, filtered, and tethered to our access to modern life, is there a way to disconnect? To live freely? To opt out of the grid entirely? Today, we're going to confront that question head on. What does it really mean to escape the grid? Is it possible? Is it practical? And more importantly, what kind of life exists on the other side of digital dependence? For some, it may mean returning to a slower, analog existence. For others, it means creating parallel systems, new economies, private technologies, and sovereign networks that operate beyond the reach of centralized surveillance. But make no mistake, opting out is not just about deleting social media or using cash. It's about rethinking the entire architecture of participation in a society that increasingly rewards compliance and punishes independence. Escaping the grid is no longer a metaphor. It's becoming a survival skill. What is the grid? First, let's define what we mean by the grid. This isn't just about electricity or the internet. The grid is the digital infrastructure of modern life, a web of interconnected systems that capture, monitor, and control access to everything from communication, commerce, and mobility to identity, healthcare, and finance. If you have a smartphone, a bank account, a streaming subscription, or a social media profile, you are on the grid. Your daily movements are tracked by GPS. Your conversations are logged in metadata. Your spending patterns are recorded and scored. Your face is scanned by cameras in public spaces. Your health is monitored through wearables. Your emotions are analyzed by machine learning systems that interpret tone, language, and expression. And while all of this is sold to us as convenience, efficiency, and customization, the true function is containment, an ever-tightening net of predictive control designed to keep you inside a behavioral system. A system that rewards conformity and penalizes deviance, not legally, but socially, economically, and technologically. Can you really leave? The simple answer is not easily, and certainly not completely. The modern world is built on systems of interdependency. Even if you delete your social media, switch to cash, and move to a remote cabin, you're still embedded in infrastructure that tracks and responds to your presence. Your phone pings towers, your bank flags anomalies, your face is picked up by surveillance cameras, and if you participate in the formal economy, you're generating data that feeds the system. That said, there are levels of disengagement. You may not be able to disappear entirely, but you can minimize your footprint. You can regain autonomy, slow the rate of surveillance, and build more control over your life. It begins with awareness and expands through strategic action. Level 1. Awareness and minimization. The first step is knowing what systems you're feeding. Every device, app, and platform you interact with is collecting something. If you're not paying for it, you are the product. Data is being harvested, profiled, and resold, often without your knowledge or consent. This data isn't just used for advertising. It's used to build predictive models about your behavior, which then influence what offers you see, which services you're approved for, and how algorithms respond to you. Start here. Conduct a full digital audit of your life. Ask yourself, which apps have access to my camera, microphone, and location? Which platforms am I using regularly that require me to accept terms of service I haven't read? Where is my data going when I scan my face, speak to AI assistants, or wear health trackers? How many of my accounts are linked to biometric ID, geolocation, or facial recognition? Once you have that awareness, begin minimizing. Turn off permissions. Remove unnecessary apps. Use browsers that don't track you. Stop syncing everything to the cloud. Encrypt where possible. Delete what you don't need. Understand that every convenience comes at a cost, and most of that cost is your freedom. Level 2. Functional substitution. Minimizing is good, but replacing is better. At the next level, you begin substituting tools that are part of the grid with alternatives that offer greater privacy, autonomy, and control. Replace Google with privacy-respecting search engines like Brave or DuckDuckGo. Use end-to-end encrypted messaging apps like Signal instead of WhatsApp or Messenger. Opt for open-source platforms where possible. Shift away from centralized cloud storage toward local drives or peer-to-peer encrypted storage. If you use social media for business, start building your own email list and independent website so your entire platform isn't vulnerable to cancellation or algorithmic suppression. For financial systems, this means keeping at least some of your wealth in non-digital, non-custodial formats, whether that's precious metals, tangible assets, cash, or cryptocurrencies stored offline. It doesn't mean you abandon digital tools. It means you don't put all your freedom in one basket. At this level, your goal is not just privacy. Your goal is redundancy, building systems that keep you functional even if the grid turns against you. Level 3. Parallel participation. This is where the escape becomes proactive. Instead of just opting out of the grid, you begin to opt into alternatives. This might mean participating in parallel economies, private barter networks, local food systems, or off-grid communities that exchange goods and services outside the centralized monetary and data systems. It might mean joining privacy-focused digital communities that run on open-source software and peer-to-peer hosting. Or it may involve supporting decentralized technologies, tools that allow you to communicate, transact, and share outside of corporate control. Some examples include mesh networks that allow internet-free communication during outages or blackouts, decentralized finance tools that don't rely on traditional banks, decentralized identity systems that let you prove who you are without linking everything to a government-issued ID. These systems are not perfect. They are not always user-friendly, but they are sovereign infrastructure in their infancy. And just like the early internet, they will evolve, if enough people invest in building and using them. Level 4. Psychological detachment. This is the most powerful level, and the hardest to master. It's not just about your tools, it's about your mindset. Escaping the grid also means detaching from its conditioning, from its metrics, from its values, from its illusion of success, virality, visibility, and instant feedback. You must deprogram the part of you that measures worth in likes, engagement, algorithms, and approval. The grid trains you to seek validation from a machine, to optimize your self-expression for discoverability, to brand your life instead of living it. This is not accidental. It's part of the trap. And real freedom begins when you say, I'm not playing your game anymore. When your sense of value comes from within, the system loses its hold. When you no longer fear obscurity, shadow banning, or cancellation, you become ungovernable, because the system can only manage those who need it. What escaping the grid is not. Let's be clear. This is not about isolation, paranoia, or fear. Escaping the grid doesn't mean living in a shack with no technology. It doesn't mean total rejection of modern life. What it means is discernment, boundaries, ownership of your digital, physical, and financial reality. It means recognizing that participation in a system doesn't require full submission to it. You can be in the world without being of it. You can use the tools without being used by them. And most importantly, it means never outsourcing your freedom to the hope that corporations or governments will suddenly rediscover ethics. They won't. It's on you. The cost of freedom. Is it easy? No. Escaping the grid on any level requires effort, discipline, and sacrifice. It may mean giving up convenience. It may mean slower growth. It may mean fewer clicks, less exposure, more manual effort. It may mean being misunderstood, unseen, and underestimated. But what you gain is far more valuable. Self-determination, resilience, and the ability to stand in your truth without fear that a policy update will erase your existence. Freedom costs, but compliance costs more. Because every time you trade a piece of your autonomy for access, the price goes up. And there will come a time when that price is your soul. You are the exit. There is no single off switch, no unplug button. But there is a path, and it starts with one truth. You are the exit. Not a platform, not a program, not a government policy. You. You are the infrastructure of your life. You decide how much you engage, what you value, and where your lines are drawn. The system wants you to believe there's no outside, that opting out is impossible. But that's because it fears those who do. Not because they're dangerous, but because they're free. And freedom, real freedom, is the only thing this system can't predict, control, or replace. Thanks for watching. I'm Adeline Atlas, and if this video lit a fire in you, don't stop here. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you think about this topic. And of course, hit that like button, the subscribe button, and find me on Instagram at SoS Renovation. But if you're ready to go deeper, join the School of SoS Vault, where I keep the real curriculum. You'll get full access to thousands of uncensored lessons I can't share here, spanning every topic they don't want you to learn. Already obsessed with this topic? You can also grab this full series as a standalone bundle and binge it start to finish. Don't just watch. Learn. Remember. Rise. Tap the links below and step into the vault.